Hello people, I'm Koay. This is a video about all the gear that I use. A lot of people ask me questions about what equipment I have, how I use it, and I thought I'd answer everybody's questions at once with a very in-depth video. I'm gonna start this off talking about the newest member of our family, equipment family that is, the Canon 10 to 18mm EFS STM lens. The reason I picked up this particular lens is specifically for vlogging, for doing videos just like this actually. This is actually something Casey Neistat recommends in the description of every single video that he puts out. It's STM, which means that as it's focusing on you because you're moving around holding the camera, it's whisper quiet. So a lot of the equipment you're gonna see today, I actually purchased and paid off before I started doing Indian content on my YouTube channel. So before I was really even making any money off of YouTube, before YouTube became a full-time job, I had most of this equipment. This right here is a rare purchase. I rarely buy equipment. I recommend for any of you guys who buy a lens, you want to buy a lens filter. The reason why I use the filters isn't for any particular effect, it's just to protect the lens. You know, I've dropped a lens once, the filter cracked, and the lens stayed intact, and I still use that lens today. So I always recommend buying a filter for your lenses. This thing is really light. I'm gonna use it for this video. All right, so this is the 10 to 18mm. You see how wide it is? And this is when this is all the way zoomed out right now, and then this is all the way zoomed in, and it's really lightweight. So this will make it easier to carry and move around with. In fact, let's just pick it up and move. Okay, here we go. So I apologize for the light in advance. I've got one light source on the camera to make it as light as possible. So this is what it looks like from the front. Keyboard right here, monitor Dell, I think it's 21 inches. Speaker below the monitor there, 5 lights. Used to be just 3, but I decided to add 2 more just to fill it in more. A Rode mic up there. The Rode mic is attached to what's typically a photography umbrella holder for flash photography. All of this equipment will be listed in the description below, just FYI. The camera is a Canon 80D, and I'm currently using my 24 to 105 L series lens. The alternate lens I use is the one I was just shooting with, the 18 to 135 STM lens. They have a better version of this now, which is STM USM. It's like $600 USD. What makes that one better is it's got better stuff. I forgot what the difference is. I added this in because I recently shot with Megan Ames and had weird sound issues, and so I'll hook up the video to here so I can constantly monitor the sound to make sure the sound is okay. These are newer lights. Again, all of this is in the description below. I've got my 3 lights on the 3-way adapter, and it's on a fat gold screw right here, which is attached to a hot shoe adapter, which is on the hot shoe of the camera. The camera itself has a battery grip. This makes it easier to swap batteries out. You see how you can hold 2 batteries in here at once? It's easier to take batteries out of here than to try to finagle it on the side over here, which is where the battery typically goes. This tripod is not something I recommend for everybody to get. It's super expensive. I got it discounted from Skeeter. I got it as a hand-me-down from him for cheap. I listed it in the description below anyway, in case you guys wanted it. I personally like to use it because it's super sturdy. Here you can see the sound cable. This runs all the way down and all the way back up the Pro line pole, all the way up to there, as you can see. I have this sticker here to avoid poking my eye out, just as a reminder, because it's black, it's easy to miss. What I run all my videos off of is this MacBook Air. You don't need to use anything fancy like this. I use it because it's low key. I have it on a stool over here, and I have a fan underneath the laptop. The video is connected through Thunderbolt here. So that's on the side of the laptop. There we go. USB is connected into the monitor. And then the USB adapter for the keyboard mouse is in the monitor, so it's closer to the keyboard mouse, better connection. I have sandbags down here. This helps to keep your stuff stabilized. I recommend sandbags. They're a wise investment to keep your equipment from falling over. A lot of you guys are curious about this stuff. Like I said before, most of my stuff that you see I've bought before the Indian content was on my channel. So these are what I call my nerd towers or pop culture towers. They're from IKEA. This stand right here is from Target. It was like 20 bucks. That's a picture of me and my mom. Right there. And that sword is from Warner Brothers, the Wonder Woman sword. That hat right there is my dad's old hat. So I wanted a minimalistic setup. I wanted to keep things as small as possible. I figured the less things I have around, the less I'll be likely to trip over it. I used to have a stand for like the 3 lights and then a stand for each of the separate lights. If you're trying to model your setup exactly like mine, this is the best way to go. You don't need to get the tripod I have. You can get a much cheaper tripod. Just make sure it's sturdy. I don't do gaming videos very often, but this is what I use to record my gaming videos. It's got a Titan X GPU. I built it in 2015, so whatever Titan X came out at that time, and I've got my uninterruptible power supply next to it. For recording games, where is it? This is what I use. The HD60 records 60 frames per second. Those of you guys who've been following me a long time, this is what Chloe used to sleep in. It's her old bunk bed, and we converted it into a guest bed. It's often where ACHARA finds herself when she's working late. These are two 30-inch monitors, Apple Cinema displays. I got them a long time ago from someone who I used to be friends with. These used to run for like $1,000 each or more, and we got them for like a fraction of that price, so we lucked out on that. And this is a Dell monitor, exact same one as the one I use in the living room for reaction videos. So this is our calendar of all the things we got going on. It's actually outdated because ACHARA hasn't updated it in a while. This right here is my Hackintosh. I believe it's a 4790K processor, overclocked just a little bit, with 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's got an NVIDIA GeForce GTX Titan 6 gigabytes. It's got a RAID system built into it with 8 hard drives. There's 3 right here, as you can see. I don't want to open up the computer itself. I'm just going to show you from the front. You can see there's more drives in there. If you're curious about ACHARA's computer that she uses, this is a 3770K processor, I believe. Same amount of RAM and a 4 gigabytes GTX 680 graphics card in there. And here are the equipments. This is a shelf full of equipment. This is the Canon EOS 1V. It's a film camera. I bought this in 2014 or 2015 because I wanted to experiment with actually using film. This is the Canon 5D Mark IV. I use this for shooting short films now. I shot a short film with this in Thailand with ACHARA. Rocket blower. Helps to clean the dust off of your lenses. These are handy things to keep out light from your lenses. When you're shooting video with these cameras, you definitely want to keep the sunlight out of the sensor. It can burn the sensor. I see people doing videos all the time where they're shooting sunlight directly, and I'm like, you're messing up your camera. But hey, if you got the money to do it. This is the 17-55 lens I was telling you about earlier. See, I put this B plus W filter on the front of it, and this is the lens I dropped. I still use this lens today, especially for when we're doing reactions with multiple people. So this is the previous wide-angle lens I was using before the one that's on this camera now. This is an 11-16 Tokina 2.8. I bought this specifically for shooting fight scenes because it's very wide angle. The cool thing about this is it also works on the 5D. Because it's designed for crop sensor cameras, when you go all the way to 11mm, it creates harsh vignetting. But the fact that you can mount it onto a full-frame sensor camera is awesome. We've got a bunch of batteries. These are extra light batteries that I have. Light battery chargers. Camera battery chargers, camera batteries. This is the only reliable off-brand battery that I've found that works and doesn't break my camera. STK, I think is the name of the company. So let's see here. So up here we've got extra stands. We have these little light stands. This is a iPhone tripod. It's lightweight and does the job for shooting, you know, with your iPhone. PBL photo light stand. I think I tried buying more of these and I couldn't find them. I got them off Amazon, 2 for 20 bucks or something like that. They're so short, so you can put them in low places and they extend, you know, it's a good length. This used to be my light stand for holding the 3 lights. As you can see, it's super heavy duty, it's super big, and it's super in the way. Here, this is a carbon fiber Manfrotto tripod. It's super light, super portable. This is what I bring with me when I go traveling. When I'm shooting abroad, this is the thing I depend upon. It's super durable, supposedly. Hasn't broken on me yet. So that's it, you guys. That's my equipment. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I apologize if it was boring or not clear enough. I did my best. This is the first time I'm using this lens. It's the first time I'm really vlogging, like full-blown vlogging with this particular setup. I'm using the same Joby tripod that Casey Neistat uses, and it's got some weight to it. I think that Casey Neistat's a really strong guy because this equipment wears on you for after a while, although I'm sure he's not using a light on top of his camera. He usually shoots like with a lot of ambient light and whatnot, just the microphone on top of the camera, so that adds quite a bit of weight to it. But I'm going to stop bitching now because you guys don't give a shit about any of that stuff. But anyway, so my recommendation to you guys is if you're starting out doing YouTube videos, start small. Start with what you need. You don't actually need all this equipment to make videos. This is stuff I've accumulated over the last 7 or so years. When the 7D came out, that changed the market as far as movie making went. About 2 or 3 years after the 7D came out, I went and picked one up and then started accumulating equipment from there. All the stuff you see, most of the stuff you see that's in this video, I've had for a long time. I didn't buy it all at once. I didn't buy it with the idea of making reaction videos. It's what I happen to have, so I use it for my reaction videos. You really could get away with using these new point and shoot cameras that are like $300, $600 for doing YouTube videos now for vlogging and whatnot. You could shoot all your stuff and edit all your stuff in a smartphone these days. So you don't actually need all this equipment. All it does is enhance what you're talking about. So if what you're talking about is boring, if the content you're making is boring, having all this equipment is not gonna help make it more exciting. So my recommendation to you guys who are just starting out is to start with what content you're producing and see what you need to tell that story, see what you need to produce that content, and then build from there. As you get money, either from your actual job or from your YouTube, whatever, then, you know, start to buy equipment as you need it. Thank you so much for hanging out, and in the description below is all the equipment I use most often, and if you have any particular questions about other equipment I use, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thanks so much. I'm Jaby Koay. Peace out.